Hi guys, it's Barbara and Mark. Welcome back to our channel where we talk all things branding, web design, and online marketing. Today we're going to talk about SEO, search engine optimization, and specifically a question that we get asked a lot. Why is my website not ranking in Google anymore?
Yeah, this is a question we've been getting a lot these past couple years. The answer is because your website is outdated. It's as simple as that. There's a lot of things that you have to do nowadays to rank well in Google. The days of just uploading your website and throwing a few keywords up there and ranking well, those days are gone. So in this video, we can give you 6 of our top things that you have to make sure you do to make sure your website's ranking well in Google still.
First thing is your site isn't mobile friendly. This is a really big one. Google a few years ago has come out and said if your site isn't mobile friendly, we're going to penalize you. And sites are still not mobile friendly, so yeah. That's a big factor into why your site isn't ranking. If you don't have a site that works well on a mobile phone, they're just not going to rank you for it. Google has a mobile first indexing now, so it's really, really important.
And to keep going off of that is Google has 2 different search engines, one for desktop and one for mobile. So do a test on your website, do it on your phone, and then go to your desktop. You're going to realize that you're ranked in different positions. This is because they're taking more consideration into mobile first indexing, because that's where a lot more people are searching these days.
Yeah, so you definitely need to get your site updated and make sure it's mobile friendly.
Yeah, that's probably the number one problem that we see with clients is they'll come to us and be like, why isn't our website ranking anymore? In 2 seconds, we can tell if the website's mobile friendly or not, and that's usually the problem. So the next one is a huge problem too, is SSL or HTTPS. They call it a few different things, but basically just means your website has to be secure. You want to make sure that your website has that little lock icon next to your URL. That means your website is secure.
Yeah, and you can go contact your hosting company if you're not on a secure HTTPS server.
It's a hard thing to say.
And they'll be able to help you out with that. They might have to, configure a few things on the server, but they should be able to get you up and running with that.
If it's a good hosting company, or you're running your own server, you can do free Let's Encrypt certificates. So it's an open source project where they're giving away these things for free, because they used to cost like $100 a year, whatever different types of protection. It's free basically.
And that's because Google has come out and said that we're going to start penalizing sites that aren't secure, so they created this that makes it more available for people. And I will say, if your hosting company doesn't want to provide you help with this, then move to another hosting company.
Don't ever stick around.
Yeah, don't stick around, because they're not up to date with the latest standards. The third thing is that your site just loads really slowly. And this is a problem that we see a lot of. Usually it has to do with image optimization. That's usually the big culprit, is people are uploading these giant images to their website, and it's really just slowing things down. There's a couple other things that cause slow websites, but usually that's the big factor, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that one and video. So when you upload a file to a website, let's talk for an image, for example. If you upload an image to Facebook, let's say you upload a 10 meg image to Facebook. When it gets to Facebook and they compress it, it's no longer 10 megs. It's like a couple hundred K. When you do that to your website, unless you have something installed on the server, or if it's a WordPress website, a plugin, it's not compressing those images like that. So you can't just upload an image like you would on Facebook, for example.
Yeah, and there actually are some really good WordPress plugins that do help you optimize images. So you can install one of those and help with that, but you definitely want to properly size your images for your website. So for example, if you have a 400 pixel wide area that an image is supposed to be in, there's no need to ever upload something that's 4,000 pixels wide, because it's just going to bog the server down and make your site load a lot slower. So just keep those things in mind, because that really does affect search rankings.
Yeah. And kind of the rule of thumb for me is every web page should be a meg or 2 max. Like if you have a website and it's 10 megs big, like you're never going to load well, especially on mobile. So then you're never going to rank well, because your website's loading slow. So
yeah, and we'll actually put the link down below to some free tools that you can use to check how big your website is. So you can go and put your URL, and it'll analyze your your website data, and those are really helpful for improving your speed.
Yeah.
So we'll put the links to that down below.
And that kind of ties into the next one, which is just a good hosting plan. So if your website is on a really cheap shared hosting plan, you know the ones, the GoDaddy, the Bluehost, the $3 a month for unlimited space, those type of websites, don't use those. It's as simple as that. You're never gonna rank well because if you're on a cheap shared hosting plan, you're sharing your server with hundreds or thousands of other people on that same server. So, for example, if one of those websites has a spike in traffic and ties up all the resources, well, guess what? You no longer have those resources on your website. So your clients are going to not have a pleasant experience because sometimes they'll have your website load up in a couple seconds and then they go back tomorrow and it takes 2 minutes to load your website up. You don't want that.
Yeah, instead you want to go to the second tier website hosting, which would be like a VPS server or even
and
better.
It may sound like it's going to cost you more, but it's not in the long run because a cheap shared hosting plan is a couple bucks a month, but a VPS server, yes, it's going to cost you $20 a month, maybe
but
$30.
It's going to be much better results.
You're going to have better performance, but the biggest thing is you're going to have better security. That's where good hosting comes into play too, because you're no longer going to have thousands of websites on the same server that could potentially hack into your website. And on a cheap shared hosting plan, I've been there, several clients have been there, it's going to get hacked. There's nothing you could do. You can install a million plugins and security layers, but if you're on a cheap shared hosting plan, you're going to get hacked. As simple as that.
Another reason why you might not be ranking in Google is because you don't have enough long form content on your site. So this means that your pages should be more valuable and have just longer scroll times because Google likes when people stay on your website longer. So if you can add some value to old blog articles or add to pages that are on your existing website to make them more informative so people get more relevant information, that's going to help with your search rankings. The longer you can keep somebody on your site, the better.
And if you actually answer the question. So like when people go to Google, they want, they have a question. A lot of times they want an answer. So you need to supply. So I'll talk about a competitor, for example. If you're trying to beat out a competitor and they're answering a question that you're writing a blog about, and let's say their blog is only, 500 characters long, maybe 1,000, you should go in there and write a 2,000 word response to that answer. And guess what? Not only is it going to be longer and it can be more relevant, it's going to be newer content than your competitor. So
yeah, and if you can make that article more informative and add a lot more value, then Google's going to notice that and rank
you will
it
get
higher.
bumped up. Yeah,
you'll definitely get bumped up. And that goes into our last point, which is you have no social media presence. So you can take all of these articles that you're writing on your blog and put them on social media. Put them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever it is that you hang out. And that's really going to help your rankings because Google likes engagement. So they can see the engagement that you have on all these different platforms and they'll start ranking your stuff higher.
Yeah. And add to that, you want to make sure that the content you add is very shareable content. So top list or best ofs or stuff like that, those get shared a lot more. So
yeah, make it engaging and things that people want to share with their coworkers or their family or friends. That really definitely helps with overall rankings because all these platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, are huge now and they're things that people are using all the time. But you don't want to go on every single platform. I don't recommend doing that because that's not the best use of your time. I would say go on the platforms where your clients are and do maybe 1 or 2 platforms really well, develop a good following, get good engagement on those instead of spreading yourself too thin and getting burned out on social media.
Yeah. And then to add to that is definitely don't obsess over the numbers. Like it's all about the quality of the content and the people that are reading your content or watching your content, if they're your audience, then you won. That's it. You don't need to get a million subscribers.
A million followers. Yeah.
It kind of it's kind of discouraging because you think that when you upload something or do something that you're going to get all this success and wealth and all this, because that's what a lot of people will tell you. Oh, just make YouTube videos or whatever. Yeah.
You go on your Instagram and you see that 10 people followed you, and then you check it an hour later and see that 15 people unfollowed you because there's this stupid follow-unfollow game going on.
So don't go down that rabbit hole of obsessing.
You'll lose sleep over worrying about the numbers. Instead, just start creating engaging content and engage with other people. Engage with your followers and make valuable stuff for them to share. Those are a few reasons why your site might not be ranking well in Google. If you have anything to add to this, leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear what you have to say. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up.
Boom, boom.
Don't do this.
Don't do those.
Do this. And be sure to subscribe to our channel for new content. Thanks for watching, guys.